Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the movie Hangout. So I gotta go on a rant here. I can't believe I used to give money to these organizations. It's because I love animals, and who doesn't love animals? If you had a pet as a kid, anytime you see an animal suffering, you want to help them. Well, I no longer give money to animal rights groups because of crap like this. So here's PETA. This is PETA's Twitter page. Now, PETA is known, it's one of the most prominent animal rights groups out there, but their behavior, it's just a good reminder why I don't give money to these people anymore. These people love animals, but they just hate people. And I'm sorry, you can love people and you can love animals. And talking about someone like this, their death is just ridiculous. So this is PETA's Twitter page, and they are bashing Steve Irwin, the famous crocodile hunter. If you grew up in the 90s, you remember Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin was, and also the early 2000s, he was an awesome guy. He was so fun to watch. He had a great spirit. He had just a youthful love of animals and of the environment and of the world. And not once did this dude ever mistreat an animal on any of his programming. I mean, he would pull like crocodiles by their tail and do just shenanigans like that. But crocodiles wrestle each other, they break bones. I mean, they're basically living dinosaurs. So pulling them by the tail is nothing. And having a problem with that is just absolutely ridiculous. So this is what they said. And I believe this is on the anniversary of, poor Steve being killed by a stingray. So they write, hashtag Steve Irwin was killed while harassing a ray. He dangled his baby while feeding a crocodile and wrestled wild animals who were minding their own business. Give me a break, come on. Today's hashtag Google Doodle sends a dangerous fawning message. Wild animals are entitled to be left alone in their natural habitats. Okay, look, I get it. Yeah, you want to leave animals alone. I get it. But harassing a stingray, I mean, come on, give me a break. And the good thing about Steve playing with animals and rolling around with them and all that stuff, it got people excited about animals. It got people interested in wildlife conservation. I mean, who knows how many millions and millions of dollars Steve raised for wildlife conservation that PETA hasn't done jack squat for. And obviously, this garnered a lot of criticism and backlash online. And PETA just grabbed the crazy shovel and just kept digging a hole. So they go on and they the next tweet is Steve Irwin's actions were not on target with his supposed message of protecting wildlife. A real wildlife expert and someone who respects animals for the individuals they are leaves them to their own business in their natural homes. Okay, so is PETA like the wildlife pope now? They are the ones that decide who the real wildlife expert is. You know what? Maybe like none of us think that PETA is like a real animal rights group. How about that? How about our opinion is they're just a bunch of crazy whack jobs who have no friends, and all they do is just attack people. PETA's motto should be love animals, hate people, because this is just ridiculous. Talk about self-righteousness. Leave them to their own business and their own natural homes. I'm sorry, but crocodiles aren't like knitting in their home and then Steve pulled them by the tail out of their house. I mean, these the it's just this is just so these are people that PETA is made up of people. The people that are at the higher echelons of PETA are people that they really think animals are like the animals in Babe. They can just talk when we're not around, and they have deep thoughts about life that we don't have, or that we don't have, or we don't know about. And it's just ridiculous. And then they dig it even deeper. It is harassment to drag exotic animals, including babies taken from their mothers, around from TV talk shows to conferences and force them to perform as Steve Irwin did. Animals deserve to live as they want to. not as humans demand. The hashtag Google Doodle should represent that. Okay, look, Steve was not operating a traveling circus where he's like using cattle prods to get these animals to do stuff. He would just, pull out an animal or, a crocodile or, a wombat or usually animals that are found in Australia that people don't really get to see and feed them. He would, I mean, just basic stuff. I mean, they're not like jumping through fire hula hoops while doing like the tight walk above like a a bunch of spikes or something from the ground. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's a total mischaracterization of what this guy did, and everybody that was a real fan of Steve knows that. Uh, I mean, again, if you want to give money to PETA, fine, but it's best you know about this stuff. This is just absolutely ridiculous. And Steve was a wonderful entertainer, had a great spirit, and I just thought it was important to highlight Steve and also just weird people that are attacking the dude because his kids see this stuff. His daughter and his son and his widow, they see this. And I can only imagine if somebody wrote crap like this about my dad. So just think about that, personalize it. If somebody wrote horrible things about your dad who died tragically, doing absolutely nothing wrong, and they were making him out to be like a terrible person, wouldn't you want to lash out at them? I mean, I definitely would. So, anyways, let me know what you think. Go on PETA's Twitter page and let them know that this is not cool and they need to get their head out of the rear end. Anyways, thanks for listening. If you want to get future rants, reviews, and original content, click subscribe. Later.